He's not. A third world nation, the home of the longest continuous burning tire fire anywhere in the continental United States. On line 6, it's the clanging and banging of Aaron. Hey, Aaron, what's up?
Hey, we are banging the gong. We have great news to announce, ladies and gentlemen. Mark this date on your calendar.
My calendar is marked.
October 16th, 2016. Out of Paris, France this morning, Ronnie Cummings from the Organic Consumers Association announced Monsanto goes on trial at The Hague for crimes against humanity and the environment. They have direct links about their products. The biotechnology that they're using is doing damage to the soil. And as many people know that follow the blog, a while back I posted an article, Monsanto New, Database Exposed. You can go to AllidayLLC.com and look at it, and you can read for yourself the emails that are 25 years old discussing the hazards of GMO technology and the dangers that their scientists knew about the hazards and the dangerous stuff that was going on with that technology. Yet they sold it just like they did Agent Orange to people, and it's like I said, they have a very efficient propaganda machine. And they announced today, let me see here, 200 billion tons of carbon dioxide goes out every year. And it's just, like I said, I don't agree with the way they've implemented the technology. The technology itself is not bad. It's what they're doing with it and how they have misled the entire world, if you will, on with the, again, Michael Taylor wrote the policy. He came out of the Bush Quayle administration. He wrote the policy substantially equivalent, and it was a lie. It's a lie. There's absolutely no way their products, when you use glyphosate, which is a metal cleaner and it removes trace elements from the soil and our food, there's absolutely no way those products are substantially equivalent at all, in any way, shape, or form. Again, this comes back, whom do your elected officials represent, ladies and gentlemen, because they're not representing us, they're representing the big corporations.
So you're saying October 16th of 2016, Monsanto is going on trial in the World Court in The Hague?
Yes.
Wow.
Hang on one second. I'll pull it right up here. You can go to the Organic Consumers Association World Food Day 2016. Now, they want everybody around the world to protest Monsanto. That is the day they go on trial at The Hague in the Netherlands for crimes against humanity and the environment. And I'll read you a quote from Ronnie Cummings. The time is long overdue for a global citizens tribunal to put Monsanto on trial for crimes against humanity and the environment. We are in Paris this month to address the most serious threat that humans have ever faced in our 200,000-year evolution. Global warming and climate disruption. Why is there so much carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide in the atmosphere and not enough carbon organic matter in the soil? Corporate agribusiness, industrial forestry, the garbage and sewage industry, and agricultural biotechnology have literally killed the climate stabilizing carbon sink capacity of the Earth's living soil. That's what he said in Paris yesterday. And as I said, they go on help. They get to go on trial. And I think it's a long overdue procedure that should have been done a long time ago. They're crimes against, this is what they're going on trial for. Crimes against nature and humanity and what they're calling ecocide, because their products, it's just like genocide with people. Their products are ruining the ecology wherever they are. And if you really think about it, ladies and gentlemen, You can't spray glyphosate, and I mean, I use the word slather. They want to say spray. It's not spray. I don't know if you've ever seen this stuff, but when that plane goes over the field, there is a cloud. That's not a spray. That's slathering. They completely coat the product that they put out. And soybeans, this is something everybody I think needs to be aware of. 92% of soybeans in the world are GMO soybeans. Chances are, if you're touching anything soy, it is a GMO product. And like I said, last week I contacted the Crisco Oil Company because their oil, their all vegetable oil, is made from soy. They could not tell me if it was, and I'm going to tell you right now, they're part of the Grocers Manufacturers Association, folks. They're using GMO soybeans to make that oil.
Well, soybeans aren't really that good for you anyhow.
And what's tofu made out of? Soybean?
Soybeans.
So all these healthy...
It's also... All these things that are supposed to be healthy, Monsanto has backdoored everybody by getting this stuff in the food supply. Their products are in the food supply. Make no mistake about that. But they backdoored everybody. And again, the phrase substantially equivalent, and I'm going to guarantee this right now. I don't make very many predictions, but I am going to bet. We're in Nevada. I'm a gambler. You know what? I'll give you 99 to 1. That phrase comes back to bite Michael Taylor right in the butt. I'll guarantee you that right now, because that is a bold-faced lie. And as David Suzuki says, any politician or scientist that tells you GMO products are safe and good, they're either lying or they're very stupid. You can pick, take your pick. It don't matter to me.
I just wonder what, if anything, they go to the World Court in The Hague, and the World Court says, you guys are bad guys, and blah, blah, blah. You know, what can they realistically do? Monsanto, all the rest of the corporations that do that. I'm sure their bean counters have already established a number that they don't care how many they don't care how many people die. You know, once they reach this certain point, they can pay off whatever law claims or fines they may get and continue doing what they're doing. Or they already have the GMO2, where they change one molecule of something and it becomes something
exactly.
different. So,
well, you know, years ago, a couple years back, I did an interview with a young man, Nick Kirchie, and he works with Lex Corporation. Nothing to do with the Superman Lex Corporation, but he explained a few things really, really well in the interview, and one of them was the lobbying procedures of Monsanto. And basically what he said is, look, it's cheaper for Monsanto to spend money on 30 or 40 lobbyists than it is to fight every lawsuit that comes along. And that's what they've done. And like I said, my opinion, back in 1917, when Monsanto asked, and this is something that everybody needs to understand about Monsanto, they asked the United States government to sue them for the Food Safety Act, under the Food Safety Act, about saccharin being in Coca-Cola. That went on for 8 years, and that is how that company learned how to manipulate the court system, how to manipulate the politicians, and they weaned their teeth on the propaganda machine that they have today. And it is very efficient. It is nothing but disinformation and misdirection. And when anybody says anything negative about their product, they immediately attack the source. You're a bogus scientist. Yeah, you're a bogus scientist. Where is your science? Where's your peer review? These were all the questions that would be asked by people that were pro Monsanto.
Hey, Aaron, didn't it just come out that saccharin has to be removed from Coca-Cola and from Pepsi-Cola? And
I believe it does. Yes,
there's a law now that says it's got to be removed from it. They can't use that as a
artificial sweetener.
As a sweetener. Yeah. And the reality is, you know, say what you want about this company. John Queenie was a chemist, and he sold his interests. He sold his stock in a soda pop company to form Monsanto. He was a chemist, and his first chemical was saccharin. And there's no questions in my mind. Monsanto has some of the brightest scientific minds in the universe. They know their stuff is crap. There is no way they don't know this. And those emails that I posted in that deal, and they were courtesy anonymous, they came to me in a roundabout way, and it's their database of emails, and there's discussions going back and forth. Well, we'll have to do this, we'll have to do that. And again, there's emails from back in the 70s about the Agent Orange issue and how to disinformation and how to, put that out there. So they've become very efficient with their propaganda machine and misdirection and disinformation campaigns that they do when they get ready to do something. And I just can't believe that our government has allowed this company to go on and on and on and on, especially what I think is more of a travesty is we the people have allowed our government to let this company do what they're doing. They should have been buried over Agent Orange, period. They should have been buried over that.
You're talking about that, what they should have been buried about? How about supplementing the tobacco companies?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same
another thing, Yes, they did this. The tobacco companies, what did it take them? 40 years before the Surgeon General finally said, oh, hey, by the way,
it's bad.
It does cause cancer. Maybe we need to revisit this. These are bad. And to R.J. Reynolds, they had a very efficient propaganda machine going too, and that's what they did. They used misinformation and misdirection when talking about their products. It's just, like I said, we the people have allowed this to happen by not saying, okay, stop. You have to stop. You can't do this anymore. And
as long as they're allowed to do that, they're going to do that. Aaron, how can we get a hold of you out there at Alladay LLC?
Hey, come on out and bang the gong with me, because we're going to be here all day. 775-230-9915 on that World Wide Web, www.alladayllc.com, folks. It's going to be gorgeous. If you did not see the sunrise this morning, you missed a treat. It was gorgeous. I got them posted up on G+. They were so nice. I'm putting them on the website here in a few minutes. So it's going to be a great day, folks. Let's have a good time. Let's all be safe out there.
All right. And Aaron's segment of AM News today was brought to you by the R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company and Monsanto, where you can live better through chemistry.
Yeah, better living through chemistry.
Yeah, no doubt. Before we go to the top of the hour, we've said we're going to throw a couple of Casey Jones's Christmas songs out there and see what you think. This is called Christmas in Rehab, and this is for our good friend Casey Jones. Take a listen, see what you think.